because I am a person with no soul.
But it makes sense when you think that the golf originated in Scotland.
It doesn't matter what bridge it is. The thing is that it's stupid as shit.
I was gonna say I don't know that it is like copyrighted, right? Because it's Dan.
That's so true.
Explain?
It's you that's doing it.
It's my voice. Yeah.
Yeah, it's your...
Dan, do the trick again. Do the trick again.
Hold on. I'm gonna do voice. Hold on,
if your
guys.
Bonnie can broadcast radio signals...
800-577 tips. Quick check of AccuWeather once again. We're looking at chilly conditions. A gusty wind this afternoon. Rain tapering off later on today.
So cool.
So context, chat. Wow. Hold on. Let me take that again. I'm so used to streaming this.
All right, listen up, chat.
So context, I found out like seconds before starting recording that while talking to Noah about my microphone troubles, that if I put my finger on my XLR port on the back of my microphone, apparently my whole body acts as an antenna and catches some random radio signal well enough that it's coming through and being processed, which is...
Yeah, do it again.
Hold on, here we go.
Biden is set to appear at the White House Correspondents' Dinner tonight.
That's crazy.
It's actually insane, and I'm a little freaked out by it.
Yeah, you should go to a doctor, because that means, like, you are... That's something.
It's something. Well, I've talked
Do you have metal? Like, you have a plate in your head?
No, I've talked to you guys before that, like, I've had issues where my headset will pick up... my headphones will pick up, like, the faintest sound of radio signals sometimes.
How's it feel to know it's you and not the headset?
It's got to be a vaccine thing, right?
Oh, it's 100% a vaccine thing.
Well, I've talked to you guys. So the way the shape of my like office works is that it does kind of, if you like kind of squint a little and look at it from the top, it does kind of look like a big satellite dish, like just because the way, like the curve of the building.
Yeah, but you still shouldn't be able to be a radio with your thumb.
Be. Well, that's what I'm worried about. Like it's me, and I'm confused because like I thought for the longest time it was like my.
You should have Shell do it.
You know what? Hold on. I will. Hold on. Give me two. Hold on. We're doing science. Hold on.
We gotta find out. Is Dan a medical anomaly, or is he being bombarded with radio waves at a level 5?
Guest Michelle joining the podcast.
I think what happened is there was like just by touching the.
I need you to put your finger on the back of this. Just touch the XLR port.
Just touch the port?
Yeah.
Okay. What?
Oh my God! It's just Dan.
Hold your hand on it.
Holy shit!
No way. Okay,
Dan, do it again.
Hold on.
Oh my God! It's just Dan.
So you do it first.
Wait, that doesn't make any sense. Okay. That's not how that should work.
Just do this.
Yep. Just like right on the.
Yep. Police are asking for
what?
Okay, so it doesn't work.
Okay.
Asian slur.
Oh, thank God.
What the
what?
fuck?
What? Hold on. Wait, what?
Oh my God.
I can't believe Dan touches the radio and the man just says the phrase Asian slur really loud.
I would like to make a formal apology to Mari, listener of the podcast, that Dan has just...
Dan's just off the shit.
Who would have thought?
For racism?
Also, earlier today, Mari said I had to shout her on the podcast, so I'm sorry that's how it happened.
I will shout out Mari normally, saying, "Hey, Mari, miss having you around. I hope you get. Hope everything's going cool."
I'm glad it didn't like say a slur, just said Asian slur.
I'm back. Sorry, what did I miss?
I mean, I guess the radio isn't going to say slurs.
You heard your radio say Asian slur, right?
No, I had my headphones off. I was having Michelle.
Okay, so you put your thumb on the radio thing,
it was her.
and
it was her. To be clear.
Okay.
So it does work for her as well. Just to be clear.
Yeah, we picked up on that.
So when the radio was activated, it said, "Bro, Asian slur."
Jesus.
And then is like it.
And yet you immediately cut it off there, while Jackson and I were both like, "Whoa."
We have no idea what broadcast this is actually picking up.
No, absolutely no clue.
It sounded like a bit of a news broadcast, and it probably was maybe talking about some like example of racism. But like, also there's a very real chance you were just picking up some like crazy person who was about to just be throwing out insane takes.
Yeah, it is. I would argue it is a like 100% equal chance of either.
Yeah,
okay, wait, actually,
50,
this is a huge
a radio station.
Mm-hmm.
Did Dan's recording actually pick that up or not?
Yeah, no, it came through my mic.
Okay. I was just making sure.
You'll have to. What that is?
Hold on, let me just double check. 1 second.
Who would have known we would have been saying Asian slurs in the first 5 minutes?
Over $5 billion in cash incentives.
Yep, definitely works.
What
It's definitely coming through my. We don't know. We have no idea.
This time
what it
I
is.
didn't hear it, so I think Dan's making
muted.
it up.
I was muted.
I think
at
what
Discord.
happened is
Okay.
Dan decided to
Dan's doing
gaslight
it
us by
all.
putting on his newsman voice and just saying, "Today on the subway, 7,000 people said Asian slur," and then try and play it off like it's Michelle touching
people said
the
Asian
microphone.
slurs on the subway today. I guess it's not that unreasonable, but that seems like a little higher of a number than normal.
That's why they were
so
reporting
many
on it.
people.
Yeah, the fact that I thought, oh wait, that's impossible, no way, and then I kind of thought for a second, and I was like,
how many
well,
people are in cities?
and how many are taking the subway?
It's a non-zero chance.
And how many are
but it's
just
not
blatantly racist to the point where they would just say
They just
something?
said it.
And then I was like, man, 7,000 might not be. Maybe I'm just a hater right now, but 7,000 might not be an unreal number.
Mm-hmm.
I, on the other hand, based fellow that I am deciding to say that that's too high of a number and live in blissful ignorance.
Yeah, I think it's also too high of a number, real or unreal. I think it'd be cool if there was 0.
I think the only cool kind of racism is zero racism.
See, I wouldn't say that sentence either, just because I don't want to have a sound clip of me saying I think the only cool kind of racism is cut it off. But that's just me.
See, this went from being like a weird thing we discovered Dan could do right before we started recording to it really just said Asian slur, huh?
Is there any chance it was part of a longer word?
It had no.
No,
it was like the end of
hard
a sentence.
The word.
Yeah, I would.
I'd have to go back and like listen to it.
It was
I'm not gonna
definitely
do that.
No, there's no need to do that. It was definitely someone reporting on somebody using an Asian slur.
Yeah, no, it was not like no one said anything racist. It was, but it was like it really caught me off guard. So like, we don't have to cut it. I wouldn't say because like, it's kind of funny.
It's a little funny, just like by the virtue
I
of
think
like.
it's fully funny. I mean, like it was someone
So
talking about something
unexpected.
that happened on a random radio broadcast being picked up when you put your thumb in your mic's XLR port.
Yeah. Yeah.
So like,
Honestly, it's very cool of Dan to be able to pick up the radio. Not weird
anyway,
at all.
I'm
I played
definitely not
bass
freaked out
today
by
for
my
the
own.
first time in a few months.
Yeah. Okay, I was gonna say, where do we go from here? No, because you can put your like finger on the 1/4-inch port on an amp and it goes.
That's true. That's true. See, a guy I follow on Twitter. I also listen to his podcast. A funny guy made a post saying, there's always that one guy in the friend group that likes Clutch, the band, too much. And if you don't know who that friend is, then that friend is you. And
I don't know who Clutch is. What does that make me?
Luckily for you, you are not the person who likes Clutch too much in this specific
In
group.
this metaphor,
It's Dan.
it is me.
It is Dan. Dan loves
have-
Clutch. He just loves that groovy rock. No, Jeff introduced me to Clutch a little bit ago, and I have been falling down the hole of Clutch since then. And I'm like, well,
clutch
how
hole, if you
hard
will.
could these? Yes, the Clutch hole. And I was just like, how hard could these songs be to play? And it turns out one of them was very easy. One of them was a little difficult, and the other one gave me blisters and hand cramps.
Oh,
Yep. I tell
can
you,
you play
I'm-
To the Fire and the Flames?
So true, so true. No, I can't. That's blisters and hand cramp 2.0. That's where I just like shit myself out of stress and then go home.
That's my impression of Sweet Child of Mine.
It's pretty good,
was-
honestly. It
Thank
sounds
you.
just like Sweet Child of Mine.
I don't really know how that's. I don't think I've ever heard that song
You
outside of that.
honestly, it's that part, and then you got Axl Rose just wailing over top of it. Wow, 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 wow.
Can you in post? Can you combine those two? So like I'm going like, and you're going wow wow wow.
Yeah.
Or we could just do it now.
Okay, you ready? 1, 2, 3, 4. That's close enough.
good enough. Good
Those
job,
parts
gamers.
don't play at the same time technically, but
It
like
doesn't
in my
matter.
mind, they do.
In your mind, they are in fact.
What are they gonna do? Make a good song about it?
Honestly, here's the thing. If someone has issues with our really great cover of Sweet Child of Mine we just did, send me one of you doing better.
Yeah, I really hope somebody does because it'll be very funny.
I mean, that's on them for taking the L and having to learn how to play a Guns N' Roses song, so more power to them, I guess.
All right, tell me about Clutch. Now that we're back to it.
Oh, no, that was about it. I really have been enjoying the band. They're like a groove rock band, southern groove rock, kind of. and their songs really flow in a fun way. And what is it? Worm Drink, Subtle Hustle, and Sucker for the Witch are my three big hitters right now. And in that order, they go from easiest to hardest to play.
Me when I go to the Worm Drink store.
I'm realizing that I don't know that many
Clutch songs.
Yeah.
Well, that's okay because in this story, you are not the biggest Clutch fan in the room.
No.
Yeah.
I get that. I'm trying to think can I weigh? You know what it is? I'm trying to be can I weigh in with commentary that is both witty and relevant? And the answer is no. No, I can't.
Do you know who Clutch is?
I don't think I do.
See, just do what I do then, and just admit that you don't know what's going on.
Yeah, they are a very popular band, but they're also, while very popular, they're not main zeitgeist band. They're just a very popular rock band. They've been around since 91. Same, or not the same members, but it's a 4-man band, and they've only had 2 people swap out since 91. So
yeah,
that's actually
I feel
insanely impressive.
That is a solid contender for band I definitely wouldn't know about. Because that really is not because I don't know famous bands. I know super famous bands.
Yeah.
I know who Drake is.
Yeah, absolutely.
Noted
but
band.
I don't know who the average middle of the road pretty popular though kind of act is. I don't understand what a Steve Lacy is, but I know Taylor Swift.
Yeah, I don't know a Steve Lacy either, for what it's worth.
It doesn't. Yeah, exactly. And then I also know Lil Milk and true artists that are underground.
Of course.
Honestly, yeah, true underground artists like Lil Milk. Real
as opposed
Milkheads,
to Slipknot.
Yeah.
Ooh, I know the
Slipknot's
song
more
of
I
I
think
push my
not.
fingers into my that one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the Guitar Hero 3 one.
Well, I only know that song because of the Lost Sinner from Dark Souls 2, who's got a bug in his eye or her eye.
Put that bug there.
Are you kidding me?
Probably the ground.
Damn.
Yeah, that's why I know about Slipknot.
Oh my god.
I mean,
So
I get it. I understand I have massive, painfully large, obnoxious gaps in my knowledge of anything.
mine for sure is rock music. I know nothing about rock music.
I
As a human, have no knowledge or genuinely, I hate to say it, but I have no respect for rock music really
Damn.
either. Because it never rings a bell.
I mean, you can't be expected to care about things you have literally no connection to.
I know that one Guns N' Roses song, and I haven't even heard it, and I know November Rain, because that one actually goes pretty hard.
Fair enough.
But I'm not a rock head. And I like it when I hear it, I don't, my default option is not respecting it enough.
Yeah, I get that.
So I'm not the clutch friend in this situation, I've been told.
You're not clutch.
Our sources are saying that Diane and I are not the clutch friend in the situation. So
Can you imagine if we
leaning
were?
Noah.
Can you imagine if
I
Noah
think it's
just was
probably Noah.
bullshitting and just, oh yeah, no, my clutch friend, and then just casually dropping disses on you and I?
Do you think that
Clutch
No,
is a
do you think-
concept. It's not actually a band, and I've decided to name you both the friends who are way too into Clutch.
Exactly. I could actually see it. I believe it.
What were you saying to Jackson?
I was nominating you for the person who is probably the one who likes Clutch too much.
Oh, damn. You got me there. I am the one that likes Clutch too much.
Or does Jeff like Clutch more?
So, Jeff
the
likes
Clutch head?
Clutch and is very familiar with the album Blast Tyrant, which is a great album.
Okay.
But then, the last time we hung out, I was like, oh yeah, I've been really getting into Sucker for the Witch. And Jeff's like, I'm not going to lie to you. I have only listened to Blast Tyrant.
So it's you.
Yes, it's me.
You thought it was Jeff.
Yeah.
So you were like, oh yeah, Jeff
I
who
thought it
introduced me to
was
this
Jeff,
band.
and
They
I think-
love.
And while I think
Clutch.
Jeff probably is more knowledgeable about Clutch than me, I think I am slowly creeping toward Clutch friend status.
What a life to be stuck in. I'm sorry for your loss.
I feel like everyone has a friend that's way too into at least 3 things per friend, or else, what do your friends do?
I think, well, and I don't know if we've talked about it on the podcast before, but there are things that it's okay to be too into, and then there are plenty of things that's just ooh, that's a red flag. You can't be that into that. Being
For
being
sure.
super into Clutch, whatever. Being into
Yeah, it's fun.
World War II tanks, potentially problematic.
Honestly,
Well, it's it's not in and of itself any issue.
Correct.
But it is also 100% true that everyone I've ever met who's really into World War II tanks, I haven't really vibed with.
The only one that I know that's really into World War II tanks that I do vibe with is Dave, friend of the podcast, Dave.
Like, I will say it's one of those where it's same with like gun nuts.
Yeah.
Where it's like people who are really, really into guns, like
Not
that's not in and of itself like if you know everything about every gun ever made, there's nothing wrong with that.
No, exactly.
But everyone I've ever met who's like that, I just don't
It's not for me.
gel
thanks.
with them. Yeah. Well, every time I meet, and it's not because of that.
No,
it's because of something else. But like you're also like, oh, and also that makes sense.
Yeah. Not every person that I don't vibe with is into like a specific part of certain things, but
You know what I'll say is like, and I've got to be careful because I don't want to like diss anybody. But you know what I found about working in an office that is like refreshing?
oh no.
Oh no.
The number of people you have to deal with that you're like, I straight up don't like, as a person, we do not compute.
Yeah.
But then you just gotta be like, you know what, man, we'll find something. We gotta be here. And it doesn't matter if I like you or not.
Well, that's kind of the thing that is really interesting. I feel like you simultaneously are stuck with, like, you're more stuck with people at work, but also like I feel like people at work are much more willing to like keep their shit to themselves, you know?
Keep the peace, yeah. Well,
To
not
an
really
extent.
where I
I
work,
disagree.
unfortunately. It's like the opposite.
Okay, well,
In my experience, coworkers tend to all think we're on the same side of an argument until eventually you say something like, "That's the stupidest shit I've ever heard," and then
Hell yeah.
suddenly they just talk to you less, or they default to safe topics only. Like yesterday, for example, I had somebody talking about how someone figured out how to sell property on the moon, and I walk in the middle.
What do you
of
mean
this
they figured it
conversation.
out?
Well, that's what I'd like to know, because he's like,
I could just
read
be
the
like, hey
article
Noah,
and
you want to buy an acre of the moon?
that's
$50.
That's literally
And I
all
figured it
can
out too.
imagine, right?
Only
But-
difference is whoever decided to do this is the political power, or at least the power to, with some governing body of a sort, to create a legal precedent that this person does own a section of the moon. It's the only difference.
Okay, okay.
Or I actually have no idea what happened. I'm just guessing, inferring if this person is correct about what they said. The problem is half the time these people aren't even correct about what they're saying.
So this is a guy who claims to own the moon and who claims to be selling acres of the moon.
oh my god.
Okay, so that guy's... He didn't figure out how to sell the moon.
Exactly.
He's just lying to people.
Yeah. So this happened in the 80s. There's another guy who like was talking about it in fucking 2013, 2021. But like these articles, you read them and it's like, my coworker literally said, I don't know how, but somehow he did it and it was legal. I was skeptical until I was reading the article, and I'm like, that's stupid as shit, man. You can't sell the moon. The political implications of selling land on the moon, like, governments would get involved. Even if a guy
he's probably
from
just
America is
legally
saying,
able to
I
sell
can sell the
paper.
moon, but it's not our moon. That would be like me saying, hey, do you want to buy land in China? I don't live in China. I don't own anything in China, but I could sell land in China. It's the same thing. It's just that there's people living there now and there's no one living on the moon.
Not to bring up an exact example that exists and is like widely proliferated, but
Stars.
that's exactly not stars. That's exactly what the titles thing is in Scotland.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
The titles thing. Really sketchy and weird.
What's that called? I don't even know what the company's called.
It's like Become a Lord or something like that.
Yeah, Lord something.
I was also just thinking like the
The stars thing
stars
too, yeah.
thing, like where, you know, oh, pay money, buy a star.
Yeah, and what you're buying is a certificate.
Yeah. And that's fine.
And like
like
the same thing for like
$1,000.
the Scotland land thing, where like you don't have the right to go and go
there.
to Scotland and like vote because you're a landowner.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're not a dual citizen.
Yeah, and you couldn't even request citizenship.
Correct.
But yeah, this man told me, because I'm like, this is as stupid as people who would go and like try to sell the Golden Gate Bridge. And the only retort he had to me is like, well, that was the Brooklyn Bridge, but I guess you're probably too young to remember that. And that pissed me
Oh my
off
God.
so much that I just said, it doesn't matter what bridge it is. The thing is that it's stupid as shit and not something that people do. You can't sell the moon.
Yeah.
And I immediately was cut out of that conversation and the topic was switched to something more like group friendly.
really
But
funny.
I think that was very funny.
I think that's
that-
also
Well,
very
that's
funny.
also that's the fault of the guy who just decided to say that someone's selling the moon.
Yeah, you can't just
Like you can say
yeah,
that,
you can just say things,
but I can also be like, that's not true.
yeah.
Yeah, I love the way that like, yeah, people try and keep the peace a lot more when they're at work.
Overall, I feel like apparently not in you guys' line of work, but you know.
Well, yeah, not really for me, just because of like the nature of the work. It's kind of hard to avoid contentious topics.
Yeah.
Like it's actually impossible. Some would say
On a daily
what are you gonna do,
basis, I
avoid
get
politics?
told about. Oh, exactly.
that would be impressive.
I would also be impressed if you guys could manage that. See, we get in trouble if we talk politics, but that doesn't mean you can't say every single day, young people don't want to work anymore.
Well, yeah.
Young people don't like having jobs. And I'm just sitting here like, okay, but I'm a young people and I worked good enough that you guys just gave me like a double promotion. So what of it?
So yeah,
In fact, all the people you have issues with are old people. So what of it?
The youth doesn't want to sell their body to the corporate interests of someone who isn't them in order to eventually maybe have the hope of one day building something like equity. Yeah, I guess not.
nah, couldn't
Crazy.
be me. Insane. What a
But like,
what a
at the same
wacky
time,
world.
they don't like it and they're complaining about it, but they're doing
So
it
we-
because you have
yeah,
to.
what am I gonna do? Die? Like and
Yeah, it's not like you can just complain about it. You can just do the things you were assigned to do when you were given the job.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing wrong with that.
No, that's actually
I mean,
called
just-
quiet quitting if you're not going over and above constantly at work. And that means that you're a bad employee.
good.
Who was
That's fine, I
someone at
suppose.
work was like they were talking about how exhausted they were about stuff and they're like, I'm not quiet quitting or anything, but I'm like, what's wrong with quiet quitting? I feel personally at work like I'm like some psycho workers' rights guy constantly because all the time I'm like, fuck this, no. It's
No, I
just
do
a
that
job.
too, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
It's just a job. Live your life. And then it's like, I'm not quiet quitting. I'm like, quiet quit. Fuck them.
yeah.
You're just here.
Yeah,
that's just called
literally
doing your
me
job.
at
And they're
work
like,
every
well, you know. And I'm like, no, I don't. Quit.
Explain.
Don't do it.
Sometimes people like there's someone at my job who's like, yeah, maybe like because I was complaining about not having enough time to do like this specific thing. He's like, well, you could always just like bring your like work computer home with you and like do it there when like
Bruh.
between tonight or over the weekend. And I was like, no, not even like I don't think you're crazy for suggesting that because that's what they kind of
Yeah,
want
that's
you
what
to
the
do.
system has been designed to have.
But
you do.
like, no, I'm not gonna do that. If they want it done and it's like can't be done, then it can't be done because I'm not unless they're gonna pay me overtime for it, then maybe I'd consider it.
Yeah. I do a decent amount of things for overtime, especially work from home overtime.
oh yeah,
That's not
Hell
too
yeah.
bad.
Yeah, I work
But-
every like third Saturday
Yeah.
to fill in and like I don't mind that because it's just like an extra like full day of work and it's a weekend so it's more chill and you get paid overtime.
Yeah, win.
But it's like I'm not gonna do free overtime secretly.
No, then
I,
well, and Michelle had had a real fucking problem with that when she was doing producing for the news as well. Is that like it literally the expectation, like full on the expectation is that every single one of the producers would
Work unpaid overtime.
work unpaid overtime, and she'd be like, well, it's it makes my life easier the next day, and I'm like, cool, but like.
Yeah, and I mean it's the same for me. Like that's literally the same like job title and
Mm-hmm.
everything, and it would make my life easier. But I'm not like
No, you
It doesn't matter
No.
because you got to draw the line somewhere. You're not getting paid, and they're taking away hours from your life.
you deserve
My-
you literally deserve better.
My one coworker, shout out Nick, made fun of me the other night because I gave him a ride home after work, but I worked 15 minutes later than him.
Mm-hmm.
So he was just like, "Oh, I'll vacuum real quick while I wait for him." I'm like, "You absolutely will not." And
No,
he's
you
like,
won't.
Why not? And I'm like, "You're off the clock. I'm not making you do work off the clock.
Yeah, be
I
done."
very firmly don't believe in that." And he's like, "Okay, whatever." Blah blah blah. Mr. Hardass doesn't want me to vacuum.
Nothing to do with
Fuck
that, my
me
guy.
for later asking him to hand me a stapler that someone left in the wrong spot. And he's like, "Oh, I thought you didn't want me to work
Oh my
off
god,
the clock."
what an ass! Very funny. What an ass.
Ah, very funny.
He's right though.
He
He
is
is
right.
right, and
You
he
can't-
should say it.
I can't believe that Noah's just a massive hypocrite when it comes to work. You're not allowed to work.
That's
unless
me. I'm just like
directly-
workers'
directly-
rights. No, only when they help me.
I was saying only if it directly is convenient to me. No,
It's also so strange when you like point something like that out and have someone look at you and genuinely be like, "Yeah, but if I was in a position of power, I'd do the same thing."
yeah,
And
yeah.
you're like, "What's wrong with you, really?" You're telling me if you had the ability to exploit people, you would just do it?
Well, no, I wouldn't
wrong?
exploit people. I'm just saying that, you know, statistically, it makes the most sense to expect
people.
this from people because you know, I can't afford to pay you a living wage here at my small local business, but I don't want to do the work, so I'm hiring you. But, you know, it's rough out there, so I can't pay you more than minimum. You know how it is.
Yeah,
and no
just,
benefits.
It's just strange when people will think, like, even beyond that, even when it's more than just that, because not to say that's excusable, but that's like a commonly held viewpoint. But there are people who will be like, no, if I was like a corporate CEO, I would encourage people to work unpaid overtime. And like they would be like gladly go and like switch to that, I suppose, side, if you will.
It is a side.
Because it is, you know.
No, that's 100% what it is. And it's one of those things of like, I don't know. I'm definitely not, I think we've kind of established at this point that I'm not, maybe not as good of a person as you guys, but I even if I understand like the concept of, oh yeah, just exploit the people under you, I get it, but just simply don't. Like, I don't know. It's such an alien, like, I get why you would do that, but I would simply not.
Yeah, it's like and it's crazy because, again, not to say that like, you're not as good of a person, because it's not that, but there is, like, you are still, like, yeah, that's clearly wrong.
Yeah. I don't understand.
And there's people who aren't of that mindset.
Wild.
Yeah. I don't know, man. If especially at a job where you have a union that says what you are and aren't supposed to be told to do, to sit there, have you ever been so pseudo management pilled that when your union says you're not allowed to do this as a thing to protect you from being exploited, you're like, damn, the union tries to ruin my good times all the time. I just want to work 7 days a week, but the union said no.
No, because I'm not.
That's a rule
person.
for us. We can work 6 days, but it is very against the rules to have us work 7.
Wild.
Yeah. And we're also not
Fair.
allowed to work split shifts, so I can't work and then go home and then get called back in.
Yeah, that's good.
I mean, that is good, to be fair.
No, it is good, but it's one of those things where, like, I have had people complain about that. They're like, I have somewhere I need to be, and I'm not allowed to come back after my, like, doctor's appointment or whatever. And it's like, I get it, but, like, do you know how much your life would suck if the people were allowed to schedule you for a 4-hour from 8 to 12 and then another 4-hour from 4 to 8?
That's exactly it. It's like I understand that you are vaguely upset about this in this moment, but like this would fuck you. This is not.
Yeah, they want to use that against you.
Yeah, they will. They are not going to be kind about this.
Yeah, not at all.
Absolutely hog wild.
And there's no reason to make one exception.
Yeah, insane. Absolutely insane.
It's nice to be in a union, though.
Right?
Yes. I like mine. They're really kind of incompetent for my job, but they are very effective for the other places that they represent. So,
yeah, and that's
such is life.
Yeah, such as, honestly, it's just literally the nature of my specific job. They don't have a lot of sway against my employer. Whereas for grocery stores and shit like that,
makes sense.
they can bully a local grocery chain pretty effectively into making sure employees have decent stuff.
That makes sense. We stand some local bullying.
Of course we do. My wouldn't we?
Actually, though, why wouldn't we? This is not a bit. This is a.
I was talking to someone the other day, and I'm like, I'm just really bummed out about my union situation. They're like, what do you mean? And I'm like, how come I have to join a union after all the mob shit ended when we had the good benefits? But then I'm aware, very ignorant thing to say, because if that's the type of union I was in, I would also be expected to do stuff, TM, and I'm glad I don't have to do that, because
but it's
once
pretty
again,
funny.
I get to check out at the end of my shift, and that's it.
It's pretty funny though.
But that's a pretty cool thing to do. Just check out at the end of shift and be done.
Not get involved with mob union politics.
I'm starting a new job on Monday, and it's.
Are you part of the mob union?
Dude, in New York I might be. I don't know. I have no idea what the like.
The local chapters.
Yeah, exactly.
Like.
No, didn't what's his name? Didn't Cuomo get the gangs out of New York? Isn't that like his entire selling point? Like that he helped push the mob out?
Cuomo sure does have selling points, huh?
Hey, he's not perverted. He's Italian.
Thanks, Italian
listen,
Noah.
I technically don't live in New York, so I don't have opinions on
What's your is your new job a part of a union? Do you know?
So that's the thing is,
Like CWA?
maybe in the like when they were talking to me at the beginning, they were like, "Hey, just so you know, we're not sure if you're going to be union or not. Basically, we're not sure." They were like full on. We're like, we're in talks with the union. This position is a new position. We don't know if it's going to be union exempt or not. Like, I just want to give you a heads up. Like, and they were like warning me about having to join the union. And I'm like, that I don't have a. Do people not want to?
Yes, people have a problem with it.
Why?
Dude,
I don't know.
Okay, so
it's crazy because like for my job, for like my union, like the dues for $100.
Yeah. It's
so, you know, if I'm starting the job I think there's variable amounts based on how much you make, but $100 when I started out. And literally on my first paycheck, there was a $120 bonus because of the union's negotiation.
Yeah. No,
so like it.
But they're not going to tell you that. They're going to say, "Oh, I mean, you join the union, it's going to cost you
Yeah, but the thing
$100."
is, they can't tell you that. Like they're not allowed to tell you that.
They aren't, but it doesn't stop people. My favorite thing is
it for sure stops people where I'm at.
Oh, I'm glad that
because there's a lot of people in an open room, and
there was at one of my early setup meetings, the guy's like, "And here's how your training day is going to go, and then the union's going to come in. They're going to talk to you about joining, and well, I'm not allowed to talk anymore about that." And I don't know about you, but in my mind, that implies don't join the union.
Yeah, no, 100% does. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what they're going for.
Yeah, they're absolutely like, it's.
But all that did to me was hell yeah.
Hell yeah, union.
He's afraid of the union for some reason.
Yeah.
It's just crazy that literally, even if nothing else, even if you like literally don't care or can't stand them, think it's bad, you make, at least in my exact situation, you literally make $20 just signing up.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
Yeah, you get fired the next day, you still made $20.
Yeah. So it's like, well, I can't imagine why people would be opposed, but there are people. One of my coworkers said something about like, you know, I always hated unions until I was in one. It's like, you always
Why'd you hate unions?
It's kind of like they're paying you guys. It's like you always hated unions.
God,
always?
I don't even know
get
what
it
to
if you
say
think there's
to
a
that.
few like strange examples or maybe some like ones that have been negative.
I mean,
but like always hated.
I mean, yeah, we all know my upbringing, and my family was very anti-union for some reason.
Really?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh, my upbringing was the opposite. Actually, it's really funny because I think my dad assumes that I would be anti-union because our politics don't exactly align. But what he doesn't realize is that our politics do perfectly align on workers' rights and fuck corporations.
Yeah, exactly.
He just doesn't realize that's an argument on my side of things and not his usual side of things.
It's so strange when the people who be like, yeah, they feel exactly the same way about like workers' unions, but then they'll be like, I still think we need to give corporate tax breaks to the
yeah, of course,
people in
it'll trickle
positions
down.
of power. You're like, but you just said okay.
It's genuinely propaganda. Like it's genuinely years and years and years and years and years.
Actually, yeah.
Of
so it's not
being
like
propagandized to about various things. That's like, and that sucks. But that is 110%.
Been convinced to like believe against your own interests, and it's you see it all the time.
Yeah, doesn't make it okay. Doesn't make it good by any stretch. But
I've also got several people that are good examples of that. Where you're like, what?
Yeah, 100%.
But we agree on this.
Yeah,
one.
but why? Why are we fighting?
Why are you booing me? I'm right.
It's so true.
Yeah, it's just like a very like, huh? Kind of statement.
Yeah, no, it literally makes no sense. It just full on it. Yeah,
It's propaganda.
It's propaganda.
It gets the younger folks too, just not as like in the same ways. So I suppose like no one's immune to it.
Yeah, it'd be nice. Be nice to not have to stress about it.
You know what I did, because I work at a place where I clock out and then I'm done. You know what I did after I clocked out on Thursday, a couple days ago. I went disc golfing.
How'd that go?
It was fun. It was the second time I've gone in the past 2 weeks.
Oh wow! So you're a real disc golfer now.
Yeah, I think I think it must have been after we recorded last time.
Makes sense.
Or it maybe I think it was after we recorded, or maybe it just didn't come up. But either way, yeah, I went with some friends, and it's a good time. I haven't done that in years.
I don't think I've ever.
Since before COVID, I'd say.
I'm a little jealous.
Disc golf, for some reason, is just one of those things that I don't think of as a thing I get to do. Even though it's
that's fair.
It's like the quintessential white guy sport.
Yeah, it's like
especially
also,
college-age white guy.
Oh, 100%. And it's just like, it's kind of fun, actually.
It seems like it would be.
The only problem is the people that do it.
Yeah.
No, some of the most annoying people disc golf, and you have to emotionally reckon with that.
And all of them are insufferable about it.
And all of them are really
like, everybody's met
tanks.
that person who's like, I
disagree with
golfer.
that, Dan. Come on.
They are just obsessed with it. Like the people who do it, that's what they do.
No, I had when I at my last job, one of my coworkers did fucking disc. Sorry, not disc golf. It was the other one.
Ultimate Frisbee.
That's the
because there's a lot of crossover
it was that one.
between the two Frisbee fandoms, but I feel like they definitely have some beef with each other.
I was gonna say, I feel like if I told that to one of them, they would be pissed at me. No, but yeah, that's the one. He was real into Ultimate Frisbee, and yeah, that's his thing. That was what he did almost every day.
It's crazy.
I don't listen, I guess, but also, okay.
Yeah, it's like people take it so seriously. Like they'll be ready to, like,
they'll throw down about it.
So I went with a couple friends of mine, just had like a couple of discs that a friend got at a discount sports store. So like, they were kind of like used, beat up, whatever. Put them in bags and just were like walking around like the park. Because like they have the courses at like public parks. They're just free, which is the best part about it is like you can just show up at a park and...
Yeah, of course.
It's just it's a more convenient way to take a walk in a park. Or not a more convenient, but it's a more engaging, I guess. But then like these other people showed up. And they were in like a decked out Subaru with a roof rack and a big ass sticker that said Discworld on their rear windshield that was like the whole windshield. And you're like, these people live for it.
This is their thing.
And they had like rolling luggage basically. It was like a miniature rolling luggage type of situation that was like a directional 4 wheels, had like 50 discs in each of them. They were like taking practice shots. They had like different like warm up gear. And I was like, what the hell's wrong with you people?
Yeah.
Like, I'm glad you're really into this, but it is Tuesday at 2:30 in the afternoon.
Any chill, please.
Like, the unemployed friend at the disc golf course. That's one of my favorite things is wherever I go, I get to run into, because like I get off work so early in the day, I run into the people who are like the quintessential the unemployed friend meme. Where it's like, why are you doing this at 2:30 in the afternoon? I mean, at the same time, why am I? Well, because I started work at 4 a.m., but like...
Yeah.
But I have a reason, damn it.
I suppose you could have too, but I don't want that. I want to push a different narrative on
Correct.
you, based on a meme.
A he who funny.
Yes, hoo-ha, yeah, funny time. Yeah, and I very regularly run into people like that. Like, you're the unemployed friend, aren't you?
Yeah.
These people were like super disc golfers, though.
That's the thing is, I feel like, like you said, there's no one who's it's not nobody's into it casually.
I'm trying to get into it casually, but at the same time, I honestly feel super, like, because just my friends and I have gone twice now, and it's been pretty fun. It's a nice way to walk around and hang out. But I feel like super intimidated by it, where I'm like, I don't really want all that stuff.
No, I get it.
Like, I would rather just have like a nice Frisbee, basically, and throw it towards a hole and laugh around, walk around. I don't need to have like 18 interchangeable disc sizes to try and like optimize getting a par on hole 4. I'm like, yeah. That's just
honestly, that's my favorite thing about golf in general to me. Like, I think I could like golf. Like, conceptually, golf is a game I would have fun with.
Yeah.
But the idea of golf being like as uber competitive as it is with the you got to use the right club, and if you don't, we're all going to make fun of you down at the club. Also, the fact that there's clubs. Like, yes, the golf club. Like, fancy people outings at the golf club. It's like, you can be normal about golfing. Look at High.
Yeah.
High never talks about golfing.
I only talks about golfing when it is directly relevant to whatever is going on.
Right? Well,
and
the patron saint of being a good golfer.
I appreciate
Thank you, High.
Yeah, High.
Shout out to you.
You're a good one.
a lot of people golf, like way more than you'd think. Especially around here, there's a lot of like, you don't gotta, like, golf isn't really a rich people thing around here. Mm-hmm. If you live in a region that has like a lot of courses, golf isn't like a rich people thing.
Well, and that's the thing.
It still is, and it always can be. But like most of the courses around here, you can play for like next to nothing.
Well, yeah, and this is not a dig on High, but I was very shocked to find out that he was as into golf as he is. Like, because I don't. He's not in my mind. He is not the
They're
type.
nerdy a little bit.
Yeah,
you know?
he's not the type. And so it was very surprising to me for him to be like, yeah, no,
Look at the area
yeah,
he lives
exactly.
in. You know, it's great for
It's
golf.
great for golf. No, I get it.
And so is this area. Like the Erie is like great for golf.
Insane.
Yeah, it's like, you know, most regions will have some courses, but you know, not a lot have like a great climate and ecosystem for it. You know, like Oceanside, like in Erie, there's so many like lakeside golf courses. It's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Big swaths of like hilly terrain, good looking, you know, sunsets and all that fun stuff. But it makes sense when you think that the golf originated in Scotland.
Right.
It's all about that. Those fields like that, the cool cliffs.
Honestly, I guess the only place you're going to actually have issues with like pretentious golf is places that don't have a lot of fields as their default.
Yeah, I think that's a fair read.
That's where you're going to get your snooty golf clubs that are like, oh, we're not accepting members anymore because you don't have a high 6-digit income, you see. You understand.
Well, I think that's the other thing is that in my mind is that it is like a like it's almost supposed to be a rich people thing. And like I think to your point Jackson, rather, is that like so many other things, it's not like it's that expensive to get into. Like you could be a bottom tier golfer.
You can be like cool about it.
Mm-hmm. But then other people
the main
convince
thing
you
that
that
I
you
hate
need
about-
expensive gear.
Mm-hmm.
The thing that I couldn't do with golf, and it's like the same thing I hate about like disc golf, which is like anywhere I go, no matter what I'm doing, and this might be a problem that's like not just like a personality, it might be like somewhat related to like a brain related thing, but I cannot carry things with me. It makes like I can't even like walk around with like a bag. It just bothers me.
Really?
And like I can't think or focus on anything else other than the fact that I've got to have a bag on me.
Interesting.
I love
Like,
carrying
I
stuff. I love
cannot do it.
being able to be there as just the guy that has all the stuff available. That's why I like having a bunch of pockets in my jacket too.
Same. Yeah, I've always.
I like pockets. I don't mind pockets. I can't do like external carrying.
Interesting.
Like the idea of putting a bag on my shoulder and like golfing and walking around, I hate that.
Interesting.
That sounds like a fate worse than death. Like even when I play disc golf, the worst thing I can imagine is when you have to like take out the bag and switch discs. I'm like, this is
awful.
I hate
this
this.
is a nightmare.
Yeah, I don't know. It's not like a reasonable thing. It's not rooted in anything that's sensible.
No, but it's not unreasonable either.
I just hate. I can't compute when I'm carrying stuff. Just like it's all I can focus on.
Huh.
So yeah, that's the thing that turns me off from golf. But the idea that if you have like a cart and you keep your clubs all in the cart, then you only have to actually hold one at a time.
No, I get that.
That wouldn't be bad. And you get to drive a golf cart around.
Which everyone knows factually, golf carts are cool and fun to drive around. That's
they're
not,
the shit.
That's not even I don't even think that's a questionable. There's no room for argument here. Golf carts are sick.
So those little like, it's hilarious to me. Those little like Florida golf cart old people communities.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Because at the same time, they probably hate the idea of like electric cars.
Yeah,
you know,
probably.
people in Florida be living on a golf cart and everywhere they go, and they're like, yeah, but I just don't think electric cars make any sense.
No, I don't understand them.
There's
You
a
can't
guy,
even drive them 500 miles.
There's a guy who drives around a golf cart here because
That's a little much.
It's really funny. It's because the man has DUIs, but he gets around it by driving a golf cart.
That's so funny.
Yeah.
Also,
I
like a
mean-
problem that's he's able to get around it like that. But that's really funny.
Also, yes. But yeah, no, when he doesn't have DUI issues, he drives a gigantic pickup truck. But when he does have the issues, he drives around a fucking souped up golf cart that can go, I think, like 30 miles an hour.
Wow.
Wild.
Yeah, it's big, it's tall, it's got big wheels for a golf cart. I'm just sitting here like, damn, I really don't like this guy.
Really? I can't
Yeah, it's so
imagine why. There's a good number of people like that live out in like the counties too, like out in the edges of the county.
Mm-hmm.
But it's less golf carts, more frequently like four-wheelers, and even more frequently if you get into like towns, like if you go into like, you know, a little area like Albion, Sagertown, somewhere like that, you can really quickly run into somebody who's doing it on a lawnmower.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
The
Oh yeah.
lawnmower drivers, they exist out in the, like, can't gas station's only a mile away, but you really don't want to walk a mile. Not worth driving because you got too many DUI. Or because you only got one car and like your spouse is out. Who knows? Take your lawnmower.
Yeah.
Down to the country fair.
No, there was back when I was in Corey, every single day we'd watch a guy driving his lawnmower with a push mower and a cart on the back because he did.
I know who you're talking about. Yeah, I know who you're talking about.
Yeah,
did his mom ever ride in the cart?
No. I think we're talking about different guys because this is an older guy.
Oh, that's hilarious.
And this guy had too many DUIs to drive, so instead he drove his fucking mower around every single day.
Hell yeah, he did.
Right down main drag.
Yeah, I think the guy I'm thinking about might be in Union City, not Corey, but he does the same with his mom in the back of the cart.
Oh my God.
And she's usually drinking a beer.
Amazing.
That's iconic.
Because you can't drive the lawnmower when you're drinking.
No.
Because you can get a DUI for that.
So true.
But you can ride in the cart when you're drinking.
Well, that's different.
Yeah, no.
Open container who?
Yeah, not the same at all.
Well, it's Erie,
God bless
one of the
America.
weird places that, like, somehow one of the only places in the country without open container laws. Like, somehow Erie, Bourbon Street in New Orleans, and then all of Missouri are the only places in the country where you can just walk around with a beer in your hand.
Which is insane, by the way.
I also think that's kind of crazy, right? Like, maybe this is some kind of woke indoctrination, but I feel like it's not that crazy for someone to walk around with a beer in their hand in like a park. Like sit down on a picnic with a bottle of wine. I think that should be allowed.
Yeah, I don't think that's a hot take at all.
I think it's kind of weird that it's illegal to bring a bottle of wine to a picnic.
Yeah, that's weird. That's super weird.
I fully agree. Like that sounds like that's kind of crazy even.
To say the least.
Seems like we may have put some laws in place a while ago that we overturned the large majority of them, but left a couple holdouts.
And for some reason,
it's almost like less than 100 years ago. There's a large group of people in the country who made it illegal to consume alcohol. Over 100 years ago now.
Also insane, by the way.
Kind of crazy, and we're still feeling the effects of that.
That is wild to me.
And I don't even drink. Like that's the thing. Like I couldn't tell you the last time I had the last time I had a beer was at the baseball game 2-3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
So like I'm not even coming from a perspective of like, oh, I hate it. They never let me do the thing I want to do. I don't want to do it. If they made it legal, I wouldn't do it. But I just don't think it should be like a crime to.
I mean, I can make some educated guesses, having lived in the inner city, why it's a crime. Like there's. Not gonna say everything goes back to putting down people who are in a bad situation and or oppressing certain groups of people, but I am going to say that. That is exactly what I'm going to say, in fact, because that is distinctly that's it.
Yep.
We should get some scientists in here.
I believe in
to
science.
Study the rise and fall of our podcast discussions, because without fail,
every week
we're doing great, and then within the last 10 minutes of the podcast we hit this random downer note almost every single time.
It's almost like everything is tied to a single collective structure that has caused most of the issues that we ever
this is the problem we're having.
So you're telling me that the problem behind this
actually,
so you're telling me that it's also the problem behind the podcast structuring.
Damn.
So it's even bled through to here.
Wow, that's so sad.
Thank you.
All I'm saying is, if I were in charge, I simply understand why we would perpetuate horrific things that make everyone miserable, and probably do it too, because I am a person with no soul.
You know what? That makes sense.
It's strange that there are people like that, though.
Is it?
And it's not that. Yeah, I think so.
I find it strange. I find it sad, but not strange.
I don't think it's natural.
I
think it's conditioning.
I'll buy that. Yeah, why not?
So I think it's a strange phenomena because it shouldn't
be happening.
Naturally exist. We're making it happen. Yeah. Sure, there's always some part of human society that will appeal to power. That's somewhat inevitable. There's always an appeal to power for many people, but it's an appeal to become power and receive appeals to you. That's you're daydream. You don't want things to get better because you're daydreaming about being somebody else.
Kinda. That's what I'm understanding. Yeah, that's
how'd they get you like that?
Quote unquote American dream ?
Oh, that's a good point. Yeah.
Like, I feel like unfortunately, that's definitely like.
You know who would never stand for this? Monkey D. Luffy.
So
how's that
true.
going?
He would hate that. Yeah, I'm like 920 episodes in.
Has he
Is this
found
where the real One Piece
has
starts?
has he
or
found the
not
second
yet?
piece yet?
Not yet. No, I haven't found the One Piece
okay,
yet.
my bad.
But it's real. One Piece. I'm like I'm like getting dangerously close to being caught up.
That is scary, actually, on some level.
It kind of is, because the thing about One Piece is that like everybody's got, and this includes people who haven't watched it like yourselves. Everybody's got is on the journey, and it's just about
I
where
feel like
you're
I'm on the
at.
journey for sure.
Oh, you are. It's I not to be too dramatic, but I think it might be one of the greatest odes to storytelling in theater that's ever existed. Because like the dude is like a theater nerd, like a ye olde theater nerd, and a performance and like an arts head. But the whole series is just super cool, and everybody's on their own steps of the journey. And like people will be on like episode 10 and you'll talk to them, and then people will be on episode like 100 and you'll talk to them, and they say completely different things. And then people who are on like episode 800 are like saying completely different things about the same characters.
And it's all connected,
it's just
but it's all the
crazy
same
to
thing,
see
but
how-
it's also totally
Yeah.
different. Yeah.
Because like sometimes someone will say something, you're like, he doesn't know.
He doesn't know.
They'll be like, oh, I don't really like that character, and you're like, oh, he doesn't know. Or they'll be like, oh, that guy's so cool, and you're like, oh, he doesn't know.
How could he know?
Yeah, because there's like specific moments you're like, oh yeah, if you haven't seen this thing, you wouldn't know why this person is cool or why this person is actually the worst.
Yeah.
It's just super cool because that's not just like a one or two character thing. That's like a half of the characters thing.
Hell yeah.
So it's just like you can tell where someone's at based on how they feel about certain characters, except for Buggy D Clown, who everyone loves and is cool.
Is this that everyone loves him is cool ironically, or everyone loves him is cool
He's so
unironically?
cool. He's so cool.
Okay.
He's Buggy the Clown.
You know, that's on
Oh
me.
my God.
I set the bar super low.
Look at him.
He's so cool.
Why is he he's Wind
So cool.
Waker Ganondorf shaped in this outfit?
He's so
Wind Waker
cool.
Ganondorf shaped.
Does he
He's
chop
so cool.
himself up?
He's so cool.
The fuck is this?
Is one cool guy. I am the #1 Buggy D Clown fan.
How many are there?
Buggy the Clown?
Fans of Buggy the Clown. Sorry.
Well, I'm #1, so it doesn't matter about anybody
Okay.
else. I just love him because he's in like the 3rd episode of the series, and then the creator will just not let him go away. And like he's not like he's not like I don't want to say too much about him, but he's not doing
He's not
much,
important per se.
but he's there. And I have a theory about Buggy the Clown, but I can't share
Is it
it.
that he is also the real One Piece?
Is it that he's here
No.
to put an end to this war?
He's so cool. That was fan art that was drawn in universe of Buggy from other people that aren't Buggy that think he's
No,
cool.
you're kidding.
Buggy the Clown is cool.
I like this Christ the Redeemer Buggy.
He's so cool. I don't want to get into it because it's not even really like a spoiler, but basically he is canonically so cool, but actually kind of not really anything.
Hell yeah.
It's basically like think like King from One Punch Man.
Another show that I have also seen.
So in One Punch Man, King is this character that everyone's like, he's like one of the strongest people in the universe, but it's just because he like got credit for like something really cool a while ago, and it's just kind of been riding off that
Amazing.
and hasn't actually like done anything. But it's not quite the same. But King is like, a similar type of character. But Buggy is so cool
Oh my god.
because he's a clown.
I do feel like we're missing out on the clown bit.
He's the clown, yeah. I don't know. I think it's just a really cool show, and I'm super far into it.
Villains wiki. Wait a minute. You're tricking me into rooting for a villain.
Is it a trick if it's the truth?
He's only a villain because he's misunderstood
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I can work with that.
by everyone but me.
Ah.
No, I understand.
Thank you. He's cool. He's so cool.
I have some concerns, but you know what? I'm willing to let them slide out of respect.
I'm just like falling down like this mess of Buggy the Clown memes that pop up if you just search him on Google. I'm having a blast here.
Yeah, I don't know. One Piece is just really cool, and it's something that like I think that it's a really interesting culturally unifying thing, and it's huge, and it just keeps popularity. And like it just seems like more and more of my friends
that
are
came
like
through when
starting to pick it up.
I think your phone went off in the middle of that. You said
Yeah,
that
it
again.
did.
I missed
But
all
it
that.
doesn't matter. It happens all the time.
Oh.
But yeah, and it's cool, and I definitely am getting like all of my friends are getting into it, whether or not it's me that's doing it. It's definitely a thing,
I genuinely love that.
and it's just a really fun story. And also, I am not joking when I say that Monkey D. Luffy wouldn't let that fly in America. Canonically, he would not. He would show up here, and then he would be like, "Wow, this is like," he's like, "I'm finally here in the greatest country on earth." And then something would happen. He'd be like, "Oh, whoa, is this really how some of you people live? I thought this was the greatest place ever, but they're treating some of you really poorly." You'd be like, "Yeah, they have been actually for years, and for some people, it's significantly worse. Would you like a potato?" And then he would kill.
I can't remember.
But Joe Biden would be like a dragon,
Oh, okay, then that's fine.
or like a wizard, and also would be responsible for all the problems.
That
Yeah, it's a much cleaner solution usually. in
honestly,
One Piece.
I do appreciate that. I don't remember who I was talking to about that somewhere recently. That like it would be easier if things were just
Easier?
Like,
It
it
would be
kinda sucks
easier
that
if
you
things were
can't just, like-
easier.
I mean,
Yeah,
but
like-
yeah, kinda. That is
Back in
I
the
think
day,
that
you
is
could
my
just
take.
cut off the king's head and things would get different.
Kinda, yeah.
Nowadays, you gotta like,
there's like steps involved,
yeah. Back in the good old days, they just lop off the king's head,
and they were right to do it.
and they were pretty much always.
I assume always.
I also assume always, because like, yeah, come on.
What's the king gonna do?
How many of them could have been truly not deserving of it
None.
if like
None
their
of them.
own people chose to do it? If it's like another king that did it, well, you know that's a different situation.
That's a whole nother ballgame, of course. Yeah.
But if like their own people were like, "We hate your ass.
We hate your ass so
cutting
much
your
we're
head
willing
off."
to cut your head off for it. No, that's a lot of hatred. That's
Yeah.
advanced hatred, frankly.
Even Napoleon, they just put him on like an island and said, "Knock that off."
Yeah.
Twice.
I do.
And sometimes they cut people's heads off. So like, what would you have had to do?
Yeah, that's a nice 3-strike system there, you know? Like,
Yeah.
hey,
The
2
first two,
island
you're
hits.
fine. But third one off with your head. I like it.
Truly the
Yeah.
ideal system.
I'm going to be brave and say I don't like people getting executed. But that's just me.
I don't like people getting executed with. If they're going to get executed, I do think it should be via head chopping.
I
think it
feel like
should
that's
be
very painful.
via-
I mean, if you do it right, it shouldn't be right. Like much like hanging.
That's true. Yeah.
If you
it's
do it
wrong,
right,
yeah.
it's not supposed to hurt or be. It's actually a pretty humane way to go. Better than
We just found out,
Better than fucking
you know,
lethal
better
injection. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, that fucking sucks. Why this happened again? We get back up and we move away from
Like a
being a
firing
downer,
squad thing.
and then
I'm
we bring
just
it
talking
right
about
back
murdering
down in
the
the
rich.
last 2
I don't-
minutes.
I don't see murdering the rich as a bad thing. I'm sorry that you do, frankly.
Yeah. Name one king that got his head cut off that you're like, not him.
Mhm.
Yeah,
all
no,
of 'em.
Yeah, no, you got me there.
It's like, you know, like if it's your own folks and they're saying we're sick of you,
Yeah.
maybe you should change because they probably said something
They
before
probably
the
knew
head
what they were
cutting.
doing.
I would also be one to bet that at least one time before they cut your head off, they were like, "Can you make things better?"
Can you chill at all? And then you were like, I will not, in fact. And they were like, all right,
I'm willing
well.
to bet if you're like an ancient Roman king or emperor, and like the people rose up to kill you, at one point they probably asked, "Can you make it better?" before they went to the whole kill you part.
Probably.
You know who's good at that? The French.
Name
At
two
killing people?
kings the French killed.
At murdering the bourgeoisie.
Name two kings the French killed.
I can't. Mostly because I don't
See?
remember any names from any history book ever.
Just Louis the 14th was the big one,
Yeah, that one.
or the 16th. Was it the 16th?
See?
Yeah.
See, you don't know. You can't. I
didn't make a claim about
I did
it.
almost just say Louis, just because I knew that I had like a 50-50 shot of being right. But
Yeah, they had so many of them.
there were
I don't know much
15
about
or
French
16 at
history.
least.
All I know about French history is it's like consistently misrepresented by whoever's talking about French history. You know, that's like the French history secret.
Listen,
Like the World War II stuff, where people would just always be like, the French in World War II. You're like, what are you talking about?
I think being super into the French not as big a red flag as being super into World War II.
That's true, but that's if you're actually like really into French history, which I'd still be a little like, huh? You can talk about like
Yeah.
like, I don't know what are you gonna talk about, like the Rhine? Is that in Germany? Well, no, that was actually kind of the whole issue. I don't remember much from AP Euro. Lots of French history there. They had all sorts of stuff. Good architecture.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Goldsmithing. I wish you could be a goldsmith.